Right, guys, we're back. This is John without the H at Sin RC. I'm out here with the Freewing twin 80mm F-14 Tomcat. Beast of a plane, one of the heaviest ones that I own with 2 batteries in it. I think it weighs close to 14 pounds, which is very significant. Let's go ahead and get the wings to sweep out correctly. There we go. Get our full span flaps going. For those of you guys who haven't seen this plane or you're new to my channel, I do have full span flaps along with high-tech HS85 servos for a ton of torque in the tail. This is on a pure elevon setup. The ailerons do work when the flaps are up, but otherwise it is on a pure elevon configuration. A little bit of wind today. Nothing too bad, nothing this plane can't handle for sure. It's one thing I'll say about this F-14. The heavier these planes are, the better they handle turbulence.
25.09
a lot of the time they just cut right through the wind, which is really nice to have that ability, because a lot of these smaller planes with low wing loading get stuck in the wind, and they can be quite a challenge to bring down safely without using flaps and running the risk of a stall. All right, let's get her up. Got the 5280 RC afterburners too. There they go. Gear her up.
22.3 volts.
Let's turn her around. We're on 2 4000 smart packs. I would have showed you the installation process, but it's very frustrating and I don't like I don't like doing it, so I'm not going to show it off. It's got so much agility.
30 seconds.
Let's bring her in a little lower before we waste all the batteries. Do a nice low to no throttle pass. Love the way this thing looks. We're gonna do a nice high-speed pass as soon as we sweep the wings back.
AS3X.
Okay.
Wing sweep.
Wings are swept back. Here we go. Turning and burning, guys. Whoa. Need to bring that roll stabilizer down quite a bit.
22.
Let's get those wings swept back out so we get back to normal level flight. I've been playing with the stabilization throttle mixing that I use, throttle to gains, and it's been causing some issues. I could have sworn I fixed that up. Next time I land it, I'll have to mess with it some more. I've turned it down significantly on my slider, so we're gonna go ahead and do that again. See if it still persists. Okay.
Wing sweep.
Sweeping the wings back.
21.79 volts.
You can feel the difference in lift, the way the plane flies. There we go. That's much more stable.
Wing normal. Flight pack 21.46 volts.
Bringing her back around. Get a high-speed pass going just with the wings out. I feel like we burned through batteries so quick with the 4000 packs.
2 minutes.
And we've only been flying for 2 minutes. Let's get a little lower. Let the batteries cool off a little bit. Voltage-wise, that is. These afterburners look so good. Thank you, Larry, for sending those to test out and show off. We're gonna go and get the gear out, do some touch and goes.
Gear down.
Who doesn't appreciate a good touch and go?
Full flaps.
Gear are out, flaps are out. I'm gonna go around.
Flaps up.
Definitely did not slow it down enough before I did that. Some more throttle on the turn so we don't tip stall as we come out of it. Or just regular stall for those of you who prefer to avoid the term tip stall. Do a little bit of trimming. There we go.
Stabilizer 0.
I think I didn't trim it out from the last flight I did where I was flying on a pair of 5200s.
Full flaps.
Flaps coming out.
22.63 volts.
Still plenty of power left to work with as long as we're not being too harsh on it. Such a gentle giant when it comes to flying.
3 minutes.
Keep the throttle at the mid-range so we can keep this bird flying longer. It is such a joy to see an F-14 fly again.
1.97 volts.
Such a shame that they retired them. See if I can get 2 more of these out of here before we wrap it up and fly again later as it gets closer to dark and the afterburners become really easy to see. Not that they aren't already.
Full flaps. 22.56 volts.
That is one of the best landings I've done in a while.
Flight pack 21.48 volts.
Okay, I don't think we're going to get 2. For a margin of error, we're going to go ahead
Flight
and
pack 21.48 volts.
go ahead and throttle back a little bit. Try to conserve our power. All right, let's bring her in for our final landing. Get out a little bit so we can slow down.
2.08 volts.
Still 22 volts under load, not too bad.
Flight pack 21.48 volts.
Okay, throttling back all the
Full
way.
flaps.
Letting the flaps do the work now so we can slow down. A little bit of thrust, little bit of thrust. Level the wings. Let the plane flare. Spoilers are out on the timed mix. If you guys haven't seen that yet, check it out.
22.55 volts. Flaps. Wing
I've definitely had videos that have performed better than the sequencer programming tutorial, but if I was just in this for the views, I would be doing something else besides just showing you guys how to do everything. I like to help people when I can, and I think for those of you guys who want to see what these planes can really do and get the most out of the programming, I hope you find that sequencer tutorial helpful because it really works wonders on this plane. I don't think we're going to get her turned around without going into the grass, so I'm going to go ahead and cut and come right back. We're going to go ahead and taxi her back under power and I'll talk a little bit. So for me, one of the reasons why, let's let her get ahead of us so we don't have to talk over the engines or the motors. One of the reasons why I love this jet so much is I grew up in the late 80s and 90s playing games like Afterburner 2 from Sega on the Sega Genesis and in the arcades. And the F-14 was the plane you got to fly, and it just looks so cool, and it's always kind of stuck with me as an iconic game with this plane featuring it. It's one of the reasons why I had to have this jet. Now, when I was talking about spoilers, check this out on my Switch C. Here we go.
Spoilers.
See how they're on a time?
Spoilers.
They don't come out instantly anymore. So what we're going to do is park her on the side here next to the Griffon and the Viper jet, and we're going to go and fly her again later. Thanks for watching, guys. More to come very soon. All right, guys. Going back up with the Freewing F-14 Tomcat, twin 80mm. I've done some adjustments to my stabilization sliders, so I should have the same amount of pitch stabilization, which is what I don't mind having, but a lot less roll stabilization, which was definitely an issue.
Throttle open.
All right, let's take her off, half throttle. Thanks for the afterburners, Larry. Let's demonstrate them.
Quick flaps up. 20 seconds. Stabilators. 30 seconds.
Stabs need to be pulled up just a little bit. Flying on the, what is it, Zeee 5200 50C packs. Trying to stay half throttle a lot of the time. I'm gonna go ahead and sweep the wings back.
Wing sweep.
Right above the grass here.
Wing normal. 1 minute.
There's some graceful beauty about seeing a Tomcat in the air that you just can't get with any other plane. Something about swing wings. It's nice.
Wing sweep.
Sweeping the wings out again. Get a full roll going here.
Wing normal.
Wings coming back out. Those afterburners, man, they just look so good. It's not a Tomcat without afterburners, you know? I mean, it is, but it's just like a, I don't know, like a severely weakened version of a Tomcat. Callouts?
23.14 volts.
Plenty of power. I got a lot more than I had with the 4,000 packs. Let's get her going with the wind. Go full speed right past us here. Hey, doing good. I'm trying to record though. Give me a few.
23.03 volts.
Cause I'm on camera right now.
Oh,
2
sorry.
minutes.
You're good, man. No, you're fine. I just.
Nice RC card plane.
What's that?
Oh, nice RC plane.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, I'll chat as soon as I'm done down landing out here.
You want me to move?
What's that?
You want me to move?
Yeah, if you could give me a little bit of space, that'd be great.
All right, you have a good day.
You too, bud. I'll be done here in a minute. There we go.
23.39 volts.
Sometimes you get visitors and I'm trying to talk and fly at the same time, so I probably sound a little discombobulated. It's easier for me to talk when I'm not having to think of how another person's going to react to what I'm saying. Okay.
22.65 volts.
Let's get her up and see if I can get her to flat spin. I mean, who doesn't enjoy a good flat spin, right?
174.6 feet.
Let's get her up in the air real good because we need some altitude to do this properly. It's a big, heavy jet and requires some thrust to get down. Okay, flying on the stabs. There's your flat spin.
3 minutes.
Definitely a little touchy on the recovery, especially flying into the sun like that. I'm basically blinding myself. Kind of afraid of flying this plane inverted. I've seen the wings bending quite a bit. It seems to handle it just fine though. Gotta do another full throttle pass with our dirt biker friend over there. Unfortunately kind of in the way, so I gotta thread the needle here. Fly at a diagonal away from him.
volts.
You guys should totally get a Freewing F-14 for yourself, man. I just love this plane.
21.85 volts.
All right, let's get her down. A little bit of G's on the pull here.
Gear down.
Drop the
Full
flaps. He is placed in a very unfortunate position right now. Spoilers.
Flaps up.
Happy with that though. Got it in a one and done. Didn't have to do a good.
22.86 volts.
Didn't have to go around. Sometimes when the transmitter talks, it kind of keeps me from talking. All right, I think I'm gonna have to walk out and turn her around, but I might be able to pull it off.
4 minutes.
I think we can. If I just time the throttle movements just right. There we go. We can bring it right back.
Wing normal.
I'm gonna save a couple of batteries for this jet. Get to sundown so you guys can really see the afterburners in play.
22.76.
Really appreciate you guys watching. More content coming soon. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys. And we're going back up with the Freewing F-14 Tomcat, twin 80mm, running two 5200 Zeee 100C packs. Links will be in the description if you want to fly them on yourself. I love them. They're cheap. You can get them on Amazon, a 2-pack for like 120 bucks. It's kind of hard to argue with that. They're just good batteries.
Flaps 50.
Got our flaps out, half. We're gonna take off with half throttle. And let's send it with Larry's 5280 RC afterburners.
Flaps up. Wing normal.
Perfect scale takeoff with half throttle. Could have been better if I had used a little bit more thrust, but that's okay. Don't always have to turn and burn all the time. Want to
20
save
seconds.
some power,
22.88 volts.
considering it's a little chilly out here and the batteries aren't going to perform as well as they would in warmer weather.
30 seconds.
Let's get a nice flyby so you guys can see Larry's afterburners in action. For those of you who have never seen them, they are cheap, they are bright, and they are awesome. Look at the way they bring this thing to life.
.15 volts.
Turn around, pull over, drop the throttle, let her gain some airspeed.
minute.
Does great rolls. They're not perfect axial rolls, but they're pretty close. Can't have everything be perfect all the time.
Gear down.
Let's do some landing practice with this jet.
Full flap.
For those of you guys, we'll call this a landing tutorial for the F-14. If you've never
23.6 volts.
landed one before, it's a big heavy plane. You need to be light on the touch. So keep some throttle up. That was
Flaps up.
not horrible. She barely touched, so it was just so far away that it became kind of an issue. Like, I didn't want to touch down that far, but I did want to touch down so that I didn't have to call this a rejected approach when I set up the chapters. By the way, speaking of chapters, I hope you guys enjoy the chapters. I meticulously go through each video, rewatch them, make sure that they're all set up at the right time. I want to make sure you guys aren't wasting your time watching my videos, so hopefully you get to see what you want to see. I know that might hurt my overall viewing time, but I don't want to waste y'all's time.
Full flaps.
Hopefully you find this content informative and useful. So as with any landing model, any jet especially, you want to keep the wings level to avoid causing any asymmetric stalls.
2 minutes.
Use
Flaps up.
conservative amounts of throttle
22.63 volts.
on the descent, and manage your sink rate with your throttle. Keep the nose pointed up. You're probably not going to stall as long as you have enough airspeed. The wings can generate a decent amount of lift at various angles of attack. However, you will eventually hit critical angle of attack no matter what speed you're traveling at which the wing will always stall no matter what you do. So it's always important to keep some thrust in your banks, especially because if you're banking and you're not using enough thrust
23.03
with enough airspeed, you will meet critical angle of attack and you're not going to like what it looks like. Keep those wings level as we descend. Okay. Hold the throttle just a little bit to manage sink rate. Let her touch down gently. Got a nice headwind that built up. Let's go ahead and pull over the auto shops that used to be hangars. Save some throttle for more touch and go practice so I can help you guys out if you've got an
22.13 volts.
F-14, while the full-scale
3
F-14
minutes.
is more than capable of slamming into the ground. Unfortunately, this model is not. Enough slams into the ground, enough carrier landings, and your live action role play as a carrier pilot for the Navy will cause significant damage to the undercarriage of this jet. Okay, I didn't listen to my own advice. I deployed the flaps too quick and it started getting a little squirrely. Now we're stabilized with the wings level.
22.86 volts. Flaps up.
Got a little bit of a crosswind coming in. It's mostly down the runway, but it is coming from the direction I'm currently facing, at least from what I can tell. Okay, let's level the wings out. Let her fly nice and gentle.
Heading. AS3X.
That's just me playing with my different stabilization values. Instead of having a heading value, which I have never bothered to change the call out for, I now use just extra levels of AS3X
21.82 volts.
to make it a little bit more stable in wind. Okay, throttle back, wings are level, pull the flaps out. We're on full span flaps, so that means this plane slows down quick. You don't want it to slow down too fast, so keep some throttle. As you get closer, go ahead and pull your nose up a little bit. Just a little bit goes a long way.
Flaps up.
Probably should have taken my sunglasses off. They're almost useless in this weather. Okay. I think the batteries have warmed up a bit because they're definitely not
21.74 volts.
complaining too much about load.
22.23 volts.
Got enough for a couple more touch and goes here. I'm sorry for those of you guys who don't enjoy touch and go content, but
Stabilators 8 up.
for those of you who are trying to learn how to land the F-14, this is quite a beast to land, and being that it weighs so much, you can easily snap
Pack 21.41
or
volts.
mess up your gear struts quite a bit.
Full flaps.
You can mess up the undercarriage. The fuselage is easy to screw up too. It's really important to get your landing practice in. Okay, as we've got our wings level, the flaps have already been dropped. We're using slight bits of thrust, about 50% at most. See how gentle I'm touching the ground?
Flaps up.
That should be,
5 minutes.
try to land like you're an Air Force pilot. Don't land like you're a Navy pilot. This model just cannot handle it. Now,
Flight pack 21.48 volts.
maybe they fixed that in the newer versions. I don't know. My gear the gear mounting points are plastic for me. They look great now. There's no compression damage at all. Do I want to slam it into the ground and risk having
22.06 volts.
to replace the fuselage? Not really. It's really expensive. I think it's like 150 bucks. and the wings and everything else are pretty pricey too. At that point, you may as well almost just buy an ARF. So again, drop the flaps and the wings are level as you come into the approach. Throttle as needed to control sink rate. Pull up a little bit. Touch down and kind of where I wanted to this time. I like to touch down ahead of myself.
21.6 volts.
This is definitely going to have to be the last time. I should not have done so many touch and goes. If I screw this next one up, I may have the risk of not getting her back down safely.
21.85 volts.
But that's another motto here at Sin RC. Breaking my stuff so you guys don't have to. Break your own, that is. Okay. Coming in for my approach, leveling my wings.
Full flaps.
Kind of screwed up my approach point, but I can probably salvage this, no problem. Not every approach has to be perfect, it just has to work.
Flaps up. 21.62 volts. Flight pack 21.27 volts.
Okay, she's definitely getting weak. Gonna be very gentle here. Definitely getting close to LVC.
Flight pack 21.41 volts.
Crap, I think I'm gonna crash this jet.
21.69 volts. Flight pack 21.16 volts.
And she came down. Let's cut and check her out. Looks like I gotta order me some replacement parts for this jet. Like I said, the motto of this channel is breaking my stuff so that you guys don't have to break yours. Looks like I can salvage most of the parts. Everything looks like it's fine for the most part. There's a couple holes in the wing I can probably fill with foam putty, although we'll see how that goes. Got a couple other damaged bits here and there. I might just get another ARF. We'll see how it goes, how extensive the damage really is. It's kind of hard to tell just from out here. If I flip it upside down, you'll see where there's some significant structural damage. The front's already separating. The glue doesn't hold up to an impact like that. The strut looks like it's fine. A little plastic piece here for the nose strut broke. Other than that, it looks like it's in okay shape. We'll have to see how it all goes. But thanks for watching, guys. Again, breaking my stuff so that you don't have to. See you next time, guys. You know, quick addendum now that I'm thinking about it. I swore to myself I'd never be one of those people that chases the perfect landing. If I can get a landing and it works, and the plane is salvageable every time it lands, that should have been what I did. And just thinking about it now, replaying the events back in my head, I realized I made some pretty stupid mistakes. I'd like to think that as a pilot with as much flight experience as I have, that I wouldn't have made a mistake like that, but I just didn't think, realized I kind of thought I might have had enough thrust to make the turn and just screwed it up. Everybody does it. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out a bit of money to fix this plane or get a brand new ARF. So we'll see how it goes, but learn from my mistakes, guys. See you next time.